guys, welcome to Coffee Hang. How's it going? Happy Friday if you're listening to this on the day it comes out. If not, happy whatever day it is for you. It's so good to be back with you all. It's the last Friday of September when this is being recorded. Because the next Friday will be October 3rd. That's crazy. So this episode, as you can tell from the title, is a September recap. A lot has happened in the world this September and in the past few weeks, but that's not what we're going to talk about. That is not this kind of podcast. So if you want to hear from any of those things, you can go find those podcasts. But I just like to preface that from the start. I'm someone who wants to create a safe place, a certain kind of place, and want you to know what you're getting into. I don't want anything to be a shock or a trigger. And if I ever forget to mention something that was a trigger, please let me know and I will try to remember to do that next time. But I want this to be a safe place in that sense. And that's kind of how all my socials are. And that's just the choice I've made. But September recap, today's coffee is coming to us from Osa. Do y'all remember the story I was telling about the coffee place that was this was a couple episodes ago. We're on episode 11 now. Yay. Long story short, I'll tell it again, but Osa was when I lived in Franklin. It was one of the first coffee shops I had when I moved here because it was at the Franklin Farmers Market for a little while. And I've been here for 3 years now. And I was like in love with it. I would literally get up and go, whether I was working that Saturday or not. I would be like, I have to go get this coffee. I don't know what the name was because I think where they were in the farmers market, I never could find like what their name was. I don't know. But I remember one Saturday they weren't there. And then I was dating Evan at the time. And I was like, babe, there was this coffee shop that I loved. And they were always at the farmer's market. I remember I had taken Evan to the Franklin Farmers Market. And I was telling him the story because it was a different group that was there. And he was like, describe it to me. And I ended up finding the name on Instagram or something. He was like, babe, that's literally down the road from where I live. And I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to show me where. So anyways, I now get to have it and it's very exciting. I have been drinking decaf and we'll get into why here in a little bit because that's part of my September recap. But the decaf, what I'll say for now is the decaf at Osa is really good. Decaf everywhere is not good. And I kind of get it, and also I'm like, we need to make decaf better, but I don't know enough about coffee beans that takes them from I think we're washing the caffeine off, so there's still a little bit of caffeine, so maybe some of the flavor also gets taken. I don't know, but someone look into it. We'll chat about it. But I have found some people's decaf is not good, and I sometimes wonder if not enough people order it, therefore the beans aren't always as fresh, but who knows? Anyways, this is me telling you Osa has a good decaf. What else has been going on? I took some time off again, but it was not because I was drained or anything like that. I had the worst migraine and it has been a horrible allergy season as well. And I know not only for me, for almost everyone I come in contact with, they're like, I'm sorry, my eyes are watering because the allergies, we're all going through it together, and I'm glad I'm not alone in that because I went to Kroger the other day. I had discovered this allergy medicine that didn't make me groggy the next morning. I don't know if anyone else has had that issue where you take an allergy pill and you're like, I literally can't get over this. Well, I had found one at our Kroger that worked for me. And I went back to get another, I had went through the whole bottle and I went back to get another bottle of it. And everyone else in Nashville had discovered that was their favorite too. So that's also what has happened recently is we're all on the same allergy pill around here. When things like that happen, it makes me laugh because it's just like, I guess this is what makes me feel very connected to other people in a way. It's like when cultural things happen and we all experience it in the same way. I'm like, okay, we all clearly like this allergy pill. Let's get into the recap because we're gonna talk about looking back on the month, and then we're gonna kind of look forward because there's some things I want to chat about and some revelations I've had of my own self. So recap wise, I said this a minute ago, I've started drinking decaf coffee, not in the morning. I would like to specify. It's only after I started having the migraines. I was like, maybe if I'm going to have an afternoon coffee, it should be decaf. So that's the only reason why. And it's been so recent. So it's not as groundbreaking. But the list I wrote down on my phone is kind of all these things I've started in September is kind of the theme of this. So I wrote down, started actually stretching before I work out. Listen, ladies, this is so important, and it's part of why there's a lot of reasons of why I think I got a migraine. I think it was a perfect storm. But one of them is I carry my stress in my shoulders and in my shoulder blades. And I know that even when I'm doing leg day and the bar is sitting across my shoulders, like it's sitting on those nerves. So there are times, leg day or upper body day, like my shoulders are engaged on both of those days, it feels like. So I have not always been someone who will properly stretch before and after. But now I'm like, yes, I am stretching out before. After sometimes I've been doing yoga with Evan later, so I don't always like force that stretch. Like, yes, I'll sit there and take a few breaths before I like just leave. But I've just been making sure I at least am getting it stretched out before. So we'll take that as a win. Here's your sign if you have not been working out. If you have not been stretching before you work out, here is Malls telling you. Maybe it's a good piece of advice. I started back my gel nails at home. I had been doing, I go through phases, but when I lived in Franklin, I would go, and I had just gotten engaged, I would go get my tips on my nails and then get dip, which I still love. Like those, if you're in a job where you're very hands-on and like, or even like with your children, like your nails need to be strong. That is why I would always get SNS, because working as a VMM and using a drill, using a hammer, hangers, like my nails would go through it. And anytime I did my own manicure, it would not last. Because I was just like, I would have paint on my hands. I would have alcohol, like whatever. So, but I bought back in June, sometime in the summer, I had bought, the brand is Les Mini Macaroon. I was introduced to it when I worked at Anthro, but they're a great company for all things gel nails, all the cool colors, like actually last. They have a gel light, like all the things. You don't have to use that brand, but that's just the one I've been using. But I like rediscovered the lamp one day when I had just gotten my nails done with my mom, and I was like, I really don't want to get my tips again. Like I want to grow my nails out. And I did. I like took my SNS off, took my tips off, and just let my nails grow out. And then I did a fresh gel manicure on top of the nails that had grown out. And I was so proud. It's like a weird, just being proud of my own like nail growth moment I had. And then ever since then, because it's fall, I feel like I'm more into nail art in the fall. I don't know. I guess in the summer I don't really care, other than having like neutral nails. But, polka dot nails are big right now. Stripes, like neutral colors, red, all those things. So I'm like, wow, I can change those over like once a week if I want to. So it's like a little bit more control over my nails. But that's been really fun. And if you have not ever used the gel light before, I will say I can't speak for other brands or anything. So like what I'm telling you, I'm speaking to you from just having this one brand. But it's so easy and fast. And that's what blows my mind. Like I was sitting here this last Saturday and I did the nails I have today. Just I was talking to Evan. We were about to walk up and get some coffee. And I'm like, wow, I just did this in like 30 or less minutes. And I don't always love sitting in the chair. I will be back getting my nails done at a salon, but for the time being, or if you don't have a lot of time, it's a great little tip. And Ulta normally has a sale running with that brand. So Amazon as well. All the things. You can find it if you want it. September was the month I kind of have always had them out, but I pulled out my Uggs. I even had them on today. Little peep. But I woke up this morning and I always ask Alexa so that I don't trigger any of your bots. I always ask her what the weather is. And this morning when she said that it was currently 73 and the high was 79, I was like, the Uggs are coming out. Like in Nashville, that's my Uggs are out. Like it's still going to be humid, but my Uggs are coming out. So thank you, September, for finally letting my Uggs come out and it be acceptable. Otherwise, I do just wear my Uggs around the house, which I guess that's kind of what they're meant for. September was also the month that I cleaned out my closet. I love kind of doing this every now and again. In the past like 2 years, I've been doing this. It just helps like I'm me. I'm going to shop it every now and again. Like things are going to be put in. So like we got to get rid of some things. And like there's just things that I'm not wearing. And so ever since I implemented that, like, I guess, circle of clothes coming in, going out, that kind of vibe, it has just made such a difference. And I give some away. I've listed some on Depop, on Poshmark, like all the things, used ThredUp. There are so many different ways to like get clothes out of your closet, and like even if you want to make some money on it, like so that you can get more clothes after or whatever, like there's so many ways to just do a really good clean out. I will say, I wish this was sponsored by ThredUp, but it's not. I had left Anthro like 3 weeks before my wedding. That was kind of the deal. I was going to leave so that I had a couple weeks to kind of move and straighten out my life before I went on honeymoon and moved in with my husband. And so I remember I just did not have time. I was like, I don't have time to list these. I just need to send them away. And ThredUp makes it so easy. You literally can go on their website and just tell them you're sending them a box, and they will send you a label and throw stuff in there like shoes, purses, whatever. I feel like a lot of places it's not that simple or you have to list it yourself. So if you are like, wow, I really need to do a cleanup here before we pull out our sweaters, maybe give ThredUp a try, or I'm sure there's other platforms too, but ThredUp's just the one I've used, and they make it really easy. I remember I sent 4 boxes of stuff. I mean, they do sell it for like you might get like $1 or $7 from things because they take a percentage, you get a percentage. Like there is a little bit of a thing there. So you won't get as much as if you were to list it yourself. But we don't all have that time, and I get that. And if you don't need the money, then you really could just take it to, I did that too. The stuff that I knew that ThredUp wouldn't want, I remember the day I dropped stuff off at the thrift store and then at UPS to send that off to to thread up, I felt like I had a whole new closet because I actually could see what was in my closet. And the older I get, the more I feel like I'm learning the pieces that I want to wear or that I always wear and the ones that I don't. And so it's just like, move on from those. That's my mantra. September, I figured out more of how I want to run my Define account and styling and my focus. I really, and maybe we'll do an episode on this kind of more behind the scenes, but as a creator and starting out and someone who sees the big picture and the detailed picture, like I was already creating this whole world. And I realized I kind of needed to, and I had heard people advise this, like niche down a little bit. Even as I'm like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was trying to like niche down and just help my own self focus on fewer things to put out good quality things. And so at this point, and like things will continue to change, but September is when I was like, okay, Define is going to be all about styling because I really enjoy talking about fashion. And I think I have a really personal stance on it that only like, that's part of why we start these things is like you think that, or you believe that your point of view is worth sharing. And like everyone's point of view is worth sharing, by the way. But the point of view I had from styling was like, I've lived both sides of the aisle in the sense of I've been able to, when I was making my own money and I wasn't paying rent, like I could spend more money on clothes versus like now I'm married and like there's thoughtful conversations about how we spend this and that and, all of that we can go into later. But when it comes to fashion, like there's a balance. You don't have to always be spending this to have a capsule wardrobe, and you don't have to like always be wearing Amazon clothes to have a wardrobe that lasts. It's like, what is that conversation? But the umbrella over it all is that I just want people to define their style themselves. And that's part of why I love the word define, because you're starting with yourself. You're not redefining, you're not redoing anything. You're the first version of yourself. So, and that's the tagline on my Instagram. It's, let's talk. I'm trying to remember the exact words. Breaking down style so you can define yours. And it's like, I want to talk about if $500 boots are worth it and that there's not a right or wrong answer, just let's discuss. Or, the mental around getting ready, like it is a mental thing, like how you view yourself, how you feel in certain clothes, how you want to feel that day, all of that goes into it. So that feels like fun work, but also deeper work. And so that's what I have kind of focused more in on that side of my branding. And I just, after losing followers, and I continue to lose followers, which is so normal on my personal page, I also just kind of wanted my personal page to not need to be as formulated or look a certain way. I can't sustain something like that. So it's like, I want my personal page to like, if I want to talk about makeup or if I want to talk about Dancing with the Stars, like whatever can be over there. But then Define is where I get to create this community that is all about this one thing. And we're all trying to do this one thing. So that's what we've done there. September is when I started baking. I knew it. I could feel it coming. For around my wedding time, Evan's grandmother gave us a mixer, and I had one like on my registry, and I was like, someone will get it for us. Those things are so expensive. But I'm so grateful that she gave me her old one because it works like a charm. And I could make frosting from scratch this month, and it was so fun. There's just something about being in the kitchen and just baking that is really fun for me. And I know it is for a lot of people. But I've been watching Joanna Gaines' baking show on that's part of her new Magnolia Network. And even that is just like, oh, I can do that. I can make that. I just got to make the time. But it's so cozy, and it's like this season brings that feeling for me, I guess. It's like I want to be in the kitchen making like warm food, where in the summer I kind of want to be having colder food, I guess. But yeah, so stay tuned. I baked a bundt cake this past week, and then that was from a box, like a cake mix. But I made pumpkin spice frosting from scratch, buttercream, and that was really fun. Watching that in the mixer become your frosting, Ev and I were having the best time. And that pumpkin puree that you put in that frosting just taste like nothing about, some frostings can taste very artificial. And I was like, wow, this is like some of the best frosting I've had, because it's, yes, there's sugar in it for sure, but there is some natural pumpkin in it that just makes it taste so yummy. And that just got me all ready for fall. So this month I intentionally started having a longer quiet time and just giving myself like an hour in the morning to journal, to read my Bible, to do my study. Like that, I've not just intentionally done that in a while. I would just give myself like 10 minutes or, pray for however long each morning. And every season's different, and there's actually not a right or wrong way to do it. But the way that I now have the time for it to be an hour and can just sit in it, and I do it like when I know Ev's kind of going to be out of the house too, because otherwise I would love to be talking to him. It's just been a really good thing that I've implemented, and I'm proud of myself. Yeah, it's taken me back to when I used to just study. Like I loved school in the sense of just studying things and gaining knowledge. And I think that hour in the morning is giving me that back in a way of just that part of my brain getting scratched while also deepening my relationship with Jesus. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. I've been doing it for 2.5 weeks now, and I like make it all cozy, and I do my French press coffee, and I take my French press with me over to the coffee table so I can pour into my cup. So I've made it a whole moment for myself, and I love it. Other thing is, I started this month seriously posting on LTK. If you don't know what that is, it's like to know it. All your people probably link to it, and you go to this site and you're like, what is this? It's LTK. It's like to know it. Or Shop My is another version of it. But I am one of their creators on there, and it's actually really fun. And my organized side of my brain loves that when you're curious about what someone has posted and where it's from, like it's linked all there or similar things. And something about the wing one in me just loves that order that it brings. But yeah, it's, with being a creator and sharing styling or whatever it is, like it is important to also, for me, it was an important goal for me to start posting on there daily and like just being intentional. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, right? So I started, and I'm really proud of myself. And now it feels like part of my weekly habits and not a forced thing, but something that's helpful to my brand. So you got to do those things that are helpful to your brand. But yeah, and just being intentional about it too, and giving yourself the time to do it. And yeah, this month, this is my last one. And this episode will be out before it happens. But this month I started being a host and a party planner. I do love dreaming up those worlds. It's, y'all have heard me talk about it with Define, like those monthly themes that we think up and we kind of bring life to. I love doing that. And I had my, I did double book myself, but my best friend and my sister's having a gender reveal for her first baby. And then one of my best friend's 28th birthdays is they're within 24 hours of each other. And I said, let me throw both of them, please. Let me plan, let me throw both. And the way that it's actually been so fun. Pinterest and Canva are my best friends. I could see exactly what it was supposed to look like. It's also from all the years of watching the Kardashians and all the parties they had. I'm like, okay, I know like mentally what we're wanting it to look like. Don't have that kind of budget. So like, let's bring it down here, but we're still going to like hit those high points. Or like My Sweet 16. Y'all remember watching that growing up? But yeah, so this month I have just decided to plan parties, and it's actually been really fun. And I hope I get to do more of that in the future, and I'm sure I will. I'm like, I'm having the best time. There's a couple things I can't say because this episode will be out, but maybe we'll do a recap of it next week. So that's all I can say for now, but there's some fun things about hosting that I can't wait to share. Just making things very special to that person and making them feel loved is one of my absolute favorite things, and feels like something that I try to do well. And I just love gift giving, and hosting a party is also kind of like giving a gift. So anyways, I'm being super coded, but we'll chat more about that in the next one. So the second part of this episode, I want to chat about what we're looking forward to this fall. And I put it on my story on Coffee Hang Podcast. If you're not following it on Instagram, go follow so that when I do any sort of question boxes, you can be included in the episode. I love hearing from you. But on my story, I asked like what we were looking forward to this fall. And someone said the combination of oversized like sweaters or sweatshirts with shorts, mini skirts, whatever. And I'm like, there is something about that outfit that is just so cozy, like, and cute. Like, you feel cute because at least everything on you is not oversized. And I absolutely agree with that and wouldn't have it any other way. Another thing I'm looking forward to in this next month is the actual cooler weather. And I know that that's like a hot topic, but hear me out. That's new for me. I normally am like, yeah, I think I'm a spring girl. I don't know. I do really like all the seasons, but I love being at the beach, like love all of that. But I didn't go to the beach this summer. So I wonder if part of that is like our honeymoon in Italy in May was kind of like my vacation, and where like normally I would vacation in July. So I guess like after vacation, I'm like ready for it to be fall. I don't know if like that's part of the brain thing or what it is, but it feels new for me that I'm like, okay, actually I'm ready for like coolness. Or maybe just because this summer has been like a heat wave the whole time, I'm just actually ready to be somewhat cold. So I don't know what that is. That's new for me. And I just want to note it Because who knows? Next year it could change. It could be different. But I feel like everyone's been having their say one way or another on how they're feeling about the weather. But it's like, it might be different every year for all of us, depending on what we've just come out of, you know? Other thing I'm looking forward to this month is I get to see the Jonas Brothers. I have never seen these boys in concert, but let me tell y'all something. I feel like these boys are I have a brother, but like another 3 brothers. Love them so much. Love their music. They're great musicians, great songwriters. I am just so pumped to see them in person, and I'm taking Evan. The way I've been trying to prepare him, he calls Kevin Steve. So like some of the names aren't right, but that's okay. We're learning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to be just so much fun. Now that we're married, living in the same house, all the things, like enjoying things like that together has been new for us and just really fun. Like we were doing something last night, and for some reason my body was like, oh wait, this is new, that I don't have to say goodbye to you. Like I'm not going to Franklin and you're not going back tonight. Like we're going home together. So just things like that. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing them at Bridgestone. I will say, I don't know if everyone feels this way here in Nashville, but I love watching a concert in Nissan. And I think it's because it's open. Bridgestone's great, and I know it's a little smaller. But ever since when I saw Ed Sheeran in Nissan, I was like, oh, this is the way to do it. This is brilliant. And then I did get tickets. We'll just have a little caveat. I got tickets for Ed for next summer at Nissan. So 3rd time seeing Ed. So excited. Him and Ari are like my 2 people. So, and then the Jonas Brothers are a close 3rd. I'm excited to go into the holiday season now that like Evan and I are married. I'm in my hosting era. I'm in my baking era. Like I'm excited for some reason to go into the holiday season with that. It's like I could have baked the past seasons, and I have, but I don't know, something about the coziness of being married and going and seeing our family and things like that just feels different now that we're married. And maybe it's like we don't have to think through. I mean, you still have to think through logistics. You got to split the time. We all know this is a whole other conversation. But I'm excited for our first like holiday season together. Like, will we send out Christmas cards? Like, have we thought about these things? All of that. And with each passing month, what I'm also looking forward to is my sister's stomach just growing and growing, and like, Lord willing, growing and growing, and the baby inside, and just how her like experience changes with every month, and learning about that. That's just been so fun. This fall is also a time where it's a lot of celebrations. There's a lot of birthdays in mine and Evan's life. It's also when a lot of our like anniversaries are too. Like we got engaged September 14th. We started dating on October 1st. So we're about to celebrate 2 years of being together, and just how quick everything has flown by. But at the same time, I feel like we've been together forever. So I'm looking forward to that and just reminiscing with Ev. Ev's really good at like stopping us and like helping us pause and feel our feelings and think about what that was all about. So I'm excited to reminisce that come October, come next week. It's just a cozy time. Fall is just a cozy time. It's when you put on Noah Kahn, and if you listen to Noah, you know what I'm talking about. Like that is, you put on the jazz music too. You play a little Frank when you're cooking in the kitchen. You light a candle or essential oils, like all the things. It's just a great time. So I'm really excited for fall and just all that it like encompasses on its own, just being cozy. I think that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening and being here. And I can't wait to catch y'all in the next one. Cheers.